Hello, hello, Kate B here. Welcome to my live stream from my beautiful kitchen. It's Orlando time, Florida, USA, 6:30 p.m. We're cooking dinner for the family, and I have something to discuss today. Just wanted to be doing my live stream while I'm cooking, having some philosophical thoughts to share with you. I hope you can hear me well. I'm using my little button mic. I don't want to scream because I'm like in a hyper mood, and I had a very busy day with doing like interviews for a very important position in my place of work. So I've been really paying attention because I'm on the committee and I'm like a little tired and overwhelmed. Kitty Southard, welcome Kitty. I'm Kate, and if you're first time on my channel, I'm sure Kitty's not the first time on my channel. Please drop me a line if you can hear me well. Today we're gonna cook chicken with mushrooms and the white sauce, and for the salad we're gonna cook Korean salad, Korean carrot salad with garlic and spices. How are you been? How have I been? I'm okay. I'm excited for October because I have a couple of trips in October. I'm going with my lady friends, moms, busy moms just like me. We are going next week. We're going on our annual getaway. So it's gonna be from Thursday to Sunday for 3 nights, and I'm very excited about that. But also this week, at the end of the week, me and my husband going to a concert for a singer from our youth, and we're excited to go to a concert and listen to some music we listened when we were in our 20s. So I've been doing okay. Hi Kitty, are you okay? Everything, your family is good? So you can hear me okay? So today I'm slicing some chicken. Okay, so I bought these knives for my new kitchen sometimes in the beginning of this year, and this is Cuisinart, and it's not a paid promotion. Those knives are okay, they're like not very expensive, but I do that to make them a little sharper because they don't stay sharp for a long time, and especially when I cut chicken, meat and vegetable, I dice my own onion with my hands. I like my knives to be really nice and sharp. Said hi, welcome. I cannot read the Arabic. I'm Kate, I speak English and I speak Russian, I speak a little bit of Romanian, so I don't speak Arabic. And I live in the United States. Originally, I'm from Eastern Europe. If you're first time on my channel, I like to cook for my family. I believe cooking at home is an act of love, and I find it very calming, and I find it is something when you do with your hands. It's a lot of value for me. It means I care what I eat, I care for the health of my family. And in this economy everywhere, probably eating at home, cooking your own food is way cheaper, and I'm all about saving money. I love restaurant food, but I don't normally eat pasta in the restaurant because I can cook my own very good pasta. So I only eat at the restaurant something like I want to try. I can cook at home, or something very special, something very tasty, something really, like you may say, high-end, because I can cook all my salads and all my meats at home every day. And I'm watching what I'm eating because I am almost at that interesting age when there are a lot of changes in my body, like hormonal changes, and I want to be healthy. I'm in my late 40s. I'm 49, and I want to stay healthy. I want to have very good health. So I'm watching what I eat. That's why I'm cooking my own food, where I can control my salt intake, where I control my grease, where I can control my fiber. I cook with a lot of vegetables, and so far so on. Kitty, welcome. We have 4 viewers. Don't be shy. Announce yourself. Welcome to my live stream. Share your thoughts. Tell me where you're from. And you don't have to share my views. You don't have to agree with everything I say. Just an opinion of an honest and blunt Russian mom, like Slavic mom. Молодец, не станешь как жабика в ее 60. Лучше заранее думать о питании, да. Да, and I want my kids to eat healthy too. So, I wanted to tell you something that's been bothering me for a couple of days. And because, you know, I want to share with you because I kind of like to reflect how I feel. And usually I don't just reflect, I want to improve something, some of my personal qualities. And I'm constantly working on improving myself in regard of how I see life, how I see my kids growing, and I'm trying to beat my anxieties because I'm a very anxious person. Приветики, что делаете? Готовим. Сегодня у нас курица с грибами. Курица с грибами в белом соусе. Заходите. So something been bothering me, and I know like I may sound like an American spoiled brat because yes, lifestyle in the United States can be different. Some people are struggling financially, some people are more comfortable, but in general, we have a big middle class, and you know, working families, when there are 2 people working in the family, most likely they can make it, they can do okay, they pay their bills, they don't miss their payments, hopefully. But I'm talking from the perspective of a middle-aged woman that, you know, built her living for the most part here in the United States, and as an immigrant with all the challenges, where we're coming from, the environment we're coming from was totally different from the environment my kids are growing. And the things I noticed that I wasn't having that as a child, I'm kind of compensating, giving my kids something more. But on the other hand, I'm always thinking about like them being spoiled, being entitled, being like not appreciating things. So I'm always trying to find the good balance. Да, беззаботная жизнь в США забазана закончилась неуспешно мчаться. Yeah, exactly. So I'm always trying to tell people that, you know, our main important thing is... На свидание Купер в Москве, представляешь, Катерина? Боже, какой ужас. So I'm an anxious person, so I like to think about risky scenarios, and especially when I'm not in a good mood, that's why I'm cooking. And I want to advise you, if you're not in a good mood, just start doing something with your hands and you'll feel relief like instantly. So I love to cook. Корейская морковка. Today I'm gonna cook my Korean carrot. Carrot is good for your eyesight, and carrot you cook it with spices and with garlic, and I'm telling you, it goes right through you. It's a lot of fiber, it's a lot of vitamins, and it's fresh salad. And you know, just try to cook something and just try to do something good for yourself. Я недавно читала, что выборы Молдовы выиграли за счет тех, кто голосовал вне страны. Да, возможно, мои голосовали. Я это не люблю, потому что я считаю, что люди должны голосовать там, где они живут, и не вмешиваться в политику тех стран, где они не живут. Но я подсела на брокколи. Да. So I have some of my Russian viewers who are coming to my live streams. That's why I'm reading the comments in Russian, and I'm giving them a little bit of feedback. Подсела на брокколи. Самое главное в брокколи не переварить. И еще, что я люблю для брокколи, купите вот такой вот garlic powder. И если у вас нет свежего чеснока, вот это очень вкусно. Это не соль, это именно powder без соли. И вы можете даже не добавлять соль, потому что это даст вкус для брокколи. Ну, хотя, знаете, я люблю соленое. Так, все, я порезала. Слушайте, что-то мало у меня курицы. So, it's not брокколи по времени. Но я на пару варю, смотря сколько у меня. Если у меня чуть-чуть, 4 минуты, не больше 6 минут. От 4 до 6 минут. Гарлик — это чеснок, да. Чесночная пудра. И эта пудра нужно покупать именно без соли, вот чтобы было написано, что тут только чесночная пудра, потому что тогда, если вы будете думать, что это чесночная соль, можно пересолить, там больше соли. Да, я тоже люблю брокколи, она через тебя проходит. Вообще все, что из капусты, это файбер, оно через тебя проходит, и тебе классно, классно тебе. Ничего не задерживается, никаких лишних калорий. So, I've been thinking because, you know, recently my kids love to go to this like theme parks we have in Florida, and I used to bring them to Disney cruises. I used to bring them to Disney parks. We used to buy Florida resident tickets. Then you know, I always find good deals. Like we can go 3 or 4 times in a row for Florida residents. They have discounts when a lot of crowds are out, or when we have guests over. I sometimes buy tickets from my work because I get discounted tickets at the university. So I'm trying to like use, like when they were kids, I'm trying to use where we live, all the entertainment industry we live in. I try to use to give my kids the, you know, the world, so they can see more than I've been seeing in my childhood. And on the other hand, you know, it was nice because I compensating. I lived through their, you know, I lived through their experiences too. I kind of was like a kid too, amazed doing things with them. We were fans of Disney cruise. Like we went on Disney cruise for about 13 times in the last 13 years. In the last 12 years, because my daughter is 12 and we started to cruise when I was pregnant with her. So 13 years, and I've done 13 cruises probably on Disney. But we also went to Disney parks, and after my kids outgrew Disney, because it's princesses, it's like those characters from the movies, when they outgrew it, they were like that stage when they loved Harry Potter. So there is another theme park, Universal Studios, and there is no paid promotion. I'm not promoting anything. I'm not telling you about these theme parks just because I want to brag. I want to discuss a philosophical matter, how we give our kids the world and we make them appreciate maybe things less than we expect. So my theory is I was overcompensating. I made sure, okay, for this chicken, I add my spices. I like when you buy spices, make sure like you don't buy spices with salt, because you control your own intake of salt. So I buy coriander, I buy paprika, and I buy turmeric. Turmeric is really good for inflammation in your body. It's like natural anti-inflammatory spice, and everything you can see is without salt. So I add spices. I'm generous with my spices. I love coriander. Ты что в итоге запекаешь? Я не поняла. Нет, курицу буду поджаривать, грибы буду поджаривать отдельно. Потом все совмещу и залью белым соусом и протушу 10 минут. Так, просто сейчас я хочу замариновать мясо. Пока я буду болтать, минут 10 оно замаринуется, пустит сок и будет очень мягкое. Будет очень мягкое. А грибы я поджарю отдельно, потому что я люблю мои грибы не очень такие тушеные, чтобы они чуть-чуть были с такой корочкой поджаристой, золотистой. Так, соли. И режу лимон. Если вы готовите, если у вас нету лимона, можете добавлять чуть-чуть соевого соуса, чуть-чуть уксуса, whatever you have. It's like homemade marinade. Don't buy marinade. А морковь ты показала тоже идет? Нет, морковь будет отдельно. Это будет салат с корейской морковкой, и будем заливать горячим маслом. Салат, это будет хрустящий салат отдельно к этому, к чикену. Ты что в итоге запекаешь? Не запекаю. Сейчас покажу. Буду все обжаривать на плите. Вот включила плиту, приготовила. So, and I was giving them a world, and through their experiences, I lived like I tried to catch up on my childhood. You know, I'm like, and sometimes I was more thrilled than them. You know, kids, they're little. Sometimes they're tired. They're not in the mood. They have, you know, they have seen a lot more than we've seen when we're. So sometimes they didn't appreciate it, and I'm like, forget it. I don't care. I spend money, but I spend time with them. That's what we're gonna remember. I do my pictures. I do my videos. You know, I have all this like million of, you know, cards with all these pictures and like million of discs with, you know, digital pictures I took through the years. But now, you know, when I see them on the frame, you know, we've been to amazing places. My kids been to amazing places since they were like 9 months. I took them everywhere. Я не успеваю за мыслью. Окей, сейчас успеешь. То есть я слишком много своим детям как бы показывала мир. И Дисней-круизы, и парки, и все. И вот недавно пришло время, как бы, they like Universal Studios now. They like Universal Studios because, you know, there are stages. They like princesses, they like Mickey Mouse, but then they grow. They don't like that anymore, you know. They like Harry Potter because they read the books, they like Wizardry World, and they're growing, they start riding roller coasters. You know, America is popular for roller coasters. Roller coasters are crazy. The industry for roller coasters, they built a lot of roller coasters here, and they're thrilling. Some of them are fun, some of them are crazy. Like, I used to like roller coasters when I came here, but now they give me headaches, and I'm like so scared of spinning, going like in loops, going upside down. But kids love it. Kids love thrilling rides. And my daughters, they were like kind of short, so they waited longer to ride the rides because there is a height limit. They can only ride like big thrilling rides when they're 54 inches tall. So my kids were on the shorter side because I'm not very tall. So, you know, gradually they grew up into loving those parks. And those parks became insanely expensive. Почти как чтение на скорость. Okay? Sorry, Байка. Я перевозбудилась. У меня тяжелые времена на работе. Мне надо выплеснуть этот, понимаете, на работе я должна быть спокойная, там со всеми улыбаться и слушать все эти интервью, и там это вот. А дома я должна прийти и вам все рассказать. So they loved Universal, and Universal is not cheap, and they started like at certain age when they became like 9, 10, 11, they started to love Universal Studios. And because every time you go to the park, the entrance ticket is at least $150 per person. Like imagine, $150 per person, and there are 3 persons or 4 persons in the family. So every time you go to the park, you have to spend $600 just to get in the park. Just to get in the park, imagine. So for Florida residents, we have discounts, like we can get annual passes, and annual passes make more sense. You pay up front, you pay for the whole year, but you can come like every weekend or whenever it's possible. But on weekends, we also have commitments, you know, sometimes kids have competitions, sometimes kids have birthday parties, so we cannot come every weekend. But financially, it makes more sense to buy those passes. So at some point, you know, my husband started to buy them passes, you know, and every year you have to renew it. Like when the pass, like after the COVID, not many people came back. So after the COVID, they tried to get you in, and they sell those annual passes for Florida residents cheaper. So maybe first year you buy them for $300, you know, like per person. And it makes sense because like, you know, you not only go in once or twice, you can go through the year, you can, let's go at least 10 times. So financially, it's fun to have those passes. But at some point, my kids started to expect those. Like they really love those parks, they really love the roller coasters. So when the passes are expired, they're like, oh, can you renew them? And you know, like every year they come to you and they're like, oh, my pass is expiring, can you renew them? And mind you, I don't like Universal as much. For myself, when I go with them maybe twice a year, I buy a discounted pass from my work because I get a special university student and faculty discount. And let's say the pass for 2 parks for the day cost me $130, but at the gate it would cost me $170. So I still, you know, save $40, but it's still expensive. So every year they love those parks, and you know, when the time comes, instead of like, oh, we love Universal, blah, blah, they come to you and they like, oh, my pass has expired. I need my pass to be renewed because I planned something with my friends to go to Universal. And we're like, wow, really? You know, so at some point your kids stop appreciating. They used to certain things, like aren't we all used to certain comforts we can't like forfeit, we can't like just give up. So, but excuse me, I'm almost 50, you know, and I work for my money. I worked all my life really hard for my money, building my life here as an immigrant, sacrificing my, you know, sometimes my free time, sacrificing my time when I was studying. Like I wanted to have a profession, and then I was looking for jobs, and like, you know, sometimes I did like very bad, like beginners here, like immigrant jobs, like that nobody wants to do for $7 an hour. But that's how you build your life gradually. And I have this appreciation for money, so I'm like trying to spend it wisely. But my kids at their age, they've been seeing this lifestyle since they were born. And now they have such high expectations, you know. They're like, oh, my pass has expired and I planned with my friends, we're gonna go for this Halloween nights, blah, blah, blah. So I need my pass like renewed. And we're like, oh, wow, wait a minute. Like, we have conditions. You have to do good at school. You have to help around the house. You have to be at a certain level. Like, it's not a given. We are not renewing them just because we can. We have to explain to them, this passes is a privilege to go to Universal with your friends, because we live in Florida. We buy them through for the whole year, so you can go at your pleasure and use this pass. But it's not given. So I've been thinking, like, I'm not complaining. Like, my kids, yeah, they are spoiled brats, but this is just an example which made me think, and they're only in that age, so what they gonna expect? Like, why their expectations are so high now? Because we were giving them good life. So what they're gonna be their expectations when they're adults? Are they gonna afford those passes? Are they gonna feel entitled to those passes? Are they gonna spend out of their own budget to go and entertain themselves when they don't live with us and they don't rely on us, you know, helping, spending money with them? So it made me think, why people in general, it's just an example with my kids. My kids are very good at school, and we like, financially we can afford it. But my point is, why we are privileged and entitled, why we are not humble, why we forget where we come from, why we don't value small things we have in life, why we always want grand things just because they're there, just because we're exposed to all of that on the internet. We see it every day, how people are, you know, like this, you know, entertaining lifestyle. Why we only see that side of, you know, spending, going somewhere, having good time, being entertained, going on vacations, but we don't see the side that gives us opportunity to be financially stable. We don't see the hard work, you know, that goes into that lifestyle. So here we go. We spend like so much money on 3 people to renew those passes, and they're happy. They go on Sunday. And mind you, I don't take a pass because I'm not a big fan of roller coasters. So for me, it doesn't have like value. So I don't want to spend $600 for my pass just to be there with them. So occasionally I go with them, but mostly my husband takes them, because my husband, it's their special time. He loves roller coasters. He used to tell me, like, he loves roller coasters with me. When I just came here, I was so young and I was furious and I loved all these thrilling rides. But now I'm getting old. I like my comforts more. I'd rather be in the spa, chilling by the pool, reading a book, or, you know, like watching like some series on Netflix. I don't want to be on the roller coasters. They make me sick. They make me physically sick. Like, I would have headache, I would have nausea, and blah, blah, blah. But the point is, like, not to tell my kids are spoiled brats. Yeah, they are a little bit. And I'm a European mom. I can tell that. You know, like Slavic moms, if you look at Instagram, how the Slavic moms talk and how the, you know, American moms talk, sugarcoating everything. So my point is, like, you have to explain your kids, you know, you live entitled and privileged life. Not everywhere in the world people can afford that thing. So you have to teach them to be humble. But my point is that I find myself not being humble. Every day I think about, like, you know, like, something bothering me at work, and I'm like, oh, I want to, you know, give up my work. People don't appreciate me. So I feel like I can't teach my kids to be humble and appreciative, because they didn't live the life I lived in my childhood. I can't explain them where I'm coming from, and I can't explain to them how sometimes abused we were and we didn't have anything fancy. So I kind of like the idea of catching up on my experiences with them. But on the other hand, I'm becoming a spoiled brat myself. As an adult, being 49, I'm used to a certain level of service. I'm used to a certain level of comfort. And if those expectations are not met, I get frustrated, you know? And my point is, like, to teach your kids to be humble and to appreciate good things, to appreciate the lifestyle and privilege you get, like working hard, being financially stable, having a good job, having a nice house, you know, having a good, like, healthy family. Those things you have to appreciate every day. Those are like universal values, you know. You can't buy them. You can't kind of like you can't buy them. You can like kind of like earn them. Like, for example, you can't buy health unless you're taking care of yourself, and you don't have conditions, and unless you're taking good care of yourself later on, you're not healthy because of your poor decisions in the past, right? But if you have conditions, like whatever, people have conditions they can't control, you know, this is a different story. I'm talking about you have to teach them to appreciate universal values like health, values like personal skills and qualities, values like love, good relationship in the family, and then you tell them, if you appreciate those universal values, you can build on them. You have to explain to them that for most people, everything comes with the hard work. So for most people, life is not just getting inheritance or winning the lottery. For 90% of people, it's playing by certain rules, growing as a person, from having like your job now at school, doing well in school, getting prepared for college, then your job to go to college to get formal education and the profession that's going to feed you, and your ultimate goal to grow and be independent adults, you know, functional adults, not the depressed adults that only one thing, and because they get all these nice things as children, because, you know, parents gave them nice experiences, they were so comfortable living at home, eating fresh meals every day. But, you know, you get used to good things, and at some point you realize if those good things are taken from you, you become frustrated, your expectations are not met, and you become frustrated, you become upset, you become depressed. So my philosophy is, before you want to teach your kids to be humble, try to be humble. Because like today I've been thinking, I'm getting this new assignment at work, and I'm like, it's like an extra work. I have to learn a new software. And then I stopped myself. I'm like, stop with that mentality. You are spoiled. Some people don't even have office jobs. Some people don't even have the skills to go and get like office jobs, and you know, so you have an opportunity to learn something, to build your skill set, and maybe you're going to be protected from firing. Like down the road, if the budget will be cut or something, who's going to go? The person who knows more or the person who knows less? And I caught myself in that thought that I wasn't humble myself, that I got spoiled with a certain comforts, and not even at home, at work too. There are certain comforts, like I can do like 5 or 10 invoices in 15 minutes, right? Or I can do 5 or 10 invoices in 30 minutes, right? So it's all about balancing out your time, balancing out your energy to learn something new. And at some point I'm like, I'm too old to learn something new, learn software. But then I thought about AI, and like everybody say, like some professions going to be dismissed by AI. And I'm that anxious person who always think like, yes, AI will come and it will take my job away, you know? And I don't want that, because I still have 15 years to work until my retirement, and I'm planning to work hard to build my, you know, my good retirement plan, to build my savings so I can comfortably live after I retire. So I have all these plans, and if AI comes and replace my job and I'm going to just be let go, you know, it's not going to be good for me, you know? So when they told me that we have this new project, blah, 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 at first I'm like, you know, and then I'm like, yes, I'll do it. You know, I started to be excited about it. I started to dig some information. I started to Google stuff to get familiar what it is about. And I hyped myself up to, instead of like being depressed and saying, oh my gosh, it's going to be so hard. I'm old. I can't learn it. I hype myself up to like it, to be interested in it. Just like with cooking. People say they hate cooking, it's a chore. No, if you put a mindset for yourself and you say cooking is an act of love, cooking is something you do good for your body, cooking is something that you can put on the table for your favorite people in the world, you know, your family, and give them a good start in life, not feeding them crappy food every day from, you know, somewhere. You kind of get appreciation from within. You don't get praise sometimes. Like, they don't care. They see this like cooked food and they get used to it. They have those expectations. It's nothing out of ordinary for them to eat homemade meal, you know, until they go to college and they realize food is crappy there and they're gonna miss mom's meals, you know. But now they're kind of taking it for granted. They kind of thinking, oh well, those meals are just like every day there. They're not gonna go anywhere until they're like out of the house. So I'm not praising myself. I think the appreciation comes from yourself, you know. So I started to think, I got myself hyped up about learning this new software. Like it's a service, it's an online service, and I always loved statistics. And this component I'm gonna do at work. I'm gonna learn, and someone else in my you know, my coworker will learn it too. So we're gonna work together on that. We're gonna write like a procedure, something we're gonna figure out what works, what doesn't, like to make things consistent. If somebody's not there, somebody else will teach someone else to do that. So there is a procedure in place. There is like steps of tasks. And instead of being like, oh, it's an extra work for me to do, I started to hype myself up and thinking like, yes, if I learn that, they're not gonna let me go. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be expert. People gonna rotate. People gonna go for better jobs. People gonna be not doing good, like, because people don't like statistics in generally. And like, people are afraid of numbers. People are afraid of big spreadsheets. People are afraid of like files and those systems where you have to upload files and create those crazy tables, and you know. But I told myself, I'm not afraid of that. If I can do it, and part of it can be done manually and part of it can be done automatically using tools, using AI, using software, that's good. But if I'm gonna become an expert, they're never gonna let me go, because AI, guess what? Somebody needs to teach AI. So before AI can function, some smart people have to teach AI how to do things. So that's why I kind of, instead of having that mentality, oh, like being annoyed with extra work, like some people are annoyed. They would come home and like, for the rest of my life, I have to cook my own meals. Don't be annoyed, you know? Look at this like an act of love to yourself and an act of love to your loved ones. You know, come home and cook freaking chicken from a bag you just bought fresh in the store, and know that you eat so much amount of protein, less calories, less fried food. You use the products like which are decent in calories and like have good ingredients versus like GMO, genetically modified ingredients. So put yourself in the mentality that you're doing something good for yourself, and the appreciation will come from within. So it's probably too complicated. Now I'm gonna start cooking my salad because I'm like blah blind and I didn't cut my onion. So I buy shredded carrots, but you can shred your own carrots. I don't see the chat moving. I only have one person showing in my live stream. I hope you can still hear me. So I gave you two examples how I'm not humble myself, and I expect something from my kids. I expect my kids to be humble, but all the best parenting starts where you can improve yourself, when you can be better than you were yesterday. And I, like this year, I told you in the beginning of the year, I didn't have grand plans. I'm like, no, people have these goals, plans, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to just go with the flow. I'm going to pace myself. I'm going to like survive every day and do something good every day, like managing my weight, managing my health, making sure my kids are like logistics are met, like school, gymnastics, like I'm going to be staying put, you know, without like huge, big goals. And, you know, with that mentality, I'm not like super anxious. I'm not putting too much pressure on myself to do something grand. But if you have that like relaxed mentality and opportunities come your way, you don't like, if you have like already a lot at your plate, my point is like, I used to be an overachiever. I had like big goals, what I'm gonna do this year. And this year I just let it go. I say, I don't have big plans or goals this year. I'm gonna just put myself in that, you know, mode, like day by day mode. And I do something good every day. And the opportunities started to flow in. And my reaction, I'm impressed with my reaction. Instead of anxieties and risky plans and like, because I'm a person who's like thinking a lot, you know, overthinking sometimes and overreacting. So I kind of tried to calm myself. I'm like, that's a great year after all. We already in October. I had a couple of nice trips, and I also have trips to look forward to. Feliciano Porco, welcome. I'm Kate. Welcome to my live stream. We're talking about life. So I started to feel like this year I'm more focusing on being humble, appreciating things as they are, appreciating whatever I have already rather than wanting more. And it looks like when I have that mentality, things come my way. You know, like in summer we missed the trip with the ladies and we're like, oh, so bad we couldn't do it in July. But we do it in October and the weather is a little better. It's not going to be super hot and we're going to a nice place, not super expensive. So you always try to find like you don't live with anxieties and regrets. You're not like, oh, bummer we didn't go to that trip. You know, you're just like, whatever, the opportunity will come, and it does come. So exactly at work I didn't have high expectations. I hired these new people, they help me, they're very smart, blah blah blah, they're easygoing, I don't have much to manage, you know, they report to me when they have problems, they ask me how to do things, and I'm more relaxed. I'm not tense as I used to be in my 40s. You know, 40s were crazy. From 40 to 48, I don't know, I was too cuckoo. So finally at 49 I'm slowing down and I feel like so much better. And maybe that's also because I eat healthier diet, and I think you know, everything, like I sleep better, I am more, you know, like not only more relaxed, I try to consciously reduce my cortisol levels. Like, why do I have to be always this, you know, freak who freaks out about every little things? You know, I used to be a control freak. Everything should be by my, you know, like, but by my expectations. If it's like a little bit lower, I'm like freaking out. So I kind of stopped freaking out, and I'm telling you, like, even if I want to get anxious about something, I'm like, it's only like for a moment, and then I'm like, take a deep breath, and I'm like, oh wow, I'm so excited about this new opportunity. And I'm like, well, they're not gonna let me go, because a lot of people are retiring, and a lot of people in that age, when they're ready to retire, they don't want to learn new stuff. You know, who wants to learn new software if you can barely see and you have like this thick glasses and your eyesight is so poor and you've been like waiting another 2 years for your retirement? They don't want to take the opportunity. They want to just be there to finish, you know, their work career and be done. But people like me, you know, who are in that interesting age between 40 and 50, like between, like, let's say late 40s and late 50s, it's still a good age to do something good, you know, to put a lot of energy and do something meaningful, like whether it's career, whether it's your family. It's still a good age, you know. Yeah, we lose hormones, yeah, but we, you know, like after 40, I would say after 45, closer to 50, like this, they always talk about that, you know, you become wiser, and I believe you do become wiser. You do become wiser because you have a lot more experiences, and you kind of become a little nicer to yourself in general. If you were a freak like me, if you were worried about every little things, now your kids are a little more grown. They give you a little more space for yourself, so you can take better care of yourself. You can rest a little more, and it doesn't come overnight. That's what I'm saying. Between 40 and 47, I was like, just leave me alone. I was like moving like a train wreck, you know, like so fast. The speed was like that, the logistics, the expectations. Now I'm finally can take things day by day. I'm more relaxed, and I'm like, wow, I like aging, you know, like that's what I call aging gracefully and becoming wise. And at this point, you're financially a little bit more stable. Like you can look at your savings, or you can look at your like retirement plan, and you're like, wow, those work years were not in vain. They built me some, you know, some financial pillow, you know, I know it's a lot of discussion about should the woman work or should she just stay home and raise kids, and it's very individual for each family. But I always saw my mom working, and I always thought that, you know, it's good for a woman to work outside the house, because for me it was a big point of being appreciated somewhere else and use your skills and like personal qualities to your own benefit. And also financially, tell me which country doesn't go through crisis these days. Like every country goes through some kind of crisis, you know. And to survive the crisis, I think to be financially, at least financially stability is give you a little bit more peace that you can survive the crisis, you know, whatever the crisis is. So at this point, I love the age, you know, I love what comes with the age. And like people are afraid of, oh, they can call me old and wrinkly and whatever. They can call me like crazy woman in the midlife crisis, but I know how I feel inside. And even if I have like a moments of crisis, I know I have tools and I have coping mechanism how overcome everyday little crises, my personal crises or whatever. So my wisdom for today is that be humble, you know, don't forget where you come from. We come from a poor environment. We didn't have hot water in the tap, and I still remember putting a big bucket of the water on the stove, heating it up, mixing it with cold water, and pouring the water on myself without the shower. Now we have a shower, but we don't want just a shower. We want a marble shower. We want like this soap and that soap. We want something, you know, for like 3 or 4 products for our, you know, hair. Like we want nice makeup, blah, blah, blah. But remember, we had 1 bar of soap when we were growing up, and we turned just okay. You know, we loved that little bar of soap. It smelled like strawberry, you know, and it was pink. And I love the bar of soap. Sometimes if it's a fancy bar of soap from Turkey, I would put it in my clothes, and my closet will smell really good, and I will save the soap for a special time or something. Now we have everything, but we still, you know, don't appreciate it because we forget how little we had and how appreciative we were. Now, because we have more and we have high expectations, like high expectations in service, high expectations at work. We have high expectations from, you know, from our kids because they have so much, we give them so much, and at the end of the day, I think, you know, we have to come down and we have to think, well, there are universal values. You're not going to take your marble shower with you. What you're going to take, you know, with you is your memories, your good moments, you know, happy moments with your kids, you know, remembering them growing, remembering fun times, remembering, you know, jokes, remembering like fun conversations with your friends. You're not going to remember crises all that much. You're not going to, you know, focus on like hard times. Like now when I look back at COVID, yes, that was rough, but COVID was there to teach us something. So I'm not telling you like, oh, I'm so glad. I was very sick during the COVID, but it taught me something. It was a rough lesson, but it was a rough lesson to tell me, hey, you got to take care of your health. You can't take your health for granted. You were 44, you got so sick and miserable. I could fall down there with the stroke and my kids would lose me. So that perspective gave me, you know, that humble moment to be appreciative of myself and take better care of my health. So since COVID, it's been 5 years and I'm 25 pounds less than I've been during COVID. So I think it's my personal achievement, and it's something that I really put an effort to do. And I'm like, yeah, now finally my labs look like 20 years ago. And I'm happy about that, because now I can think straight. I can spend more time cooking. I can spend more time on things that help me get in a better mood, help me cope with, you know, difficulties, help me cope with like getting back my, you know, sleep, getting back my, and I exercise a little more, I have more energy. So sometimes rough lessons in life, you know, rough lessons, you have to like what they say, you have to fall really low to feel like the need and the power and the energy to come out from the low. Like in this case, I'm talking about like COVID. People say, oh, COVID. Yes, of course, COVID is really bad when it took lives. But for most of us, it was a good challenge to understand what's important, what's our values, and to set certain expectations, not from like medical system, you know, because everywhere, all over the world, medical system was overused. It was overloaded. So now we're like, listen, you can't rely only on good medical care. You have to rely, first of all, on what you eat, how you feel every day, what's in your thoughts, you know, how your kids see you. They want to see normal mom. They don't want to see crazy mom who freaks out and who is like stressed all the time. They want to see healthy dad who loves the mom. They want to see mom who takes care of herself, that dad still attracted to her, you know. And that sets up very good a foundation for them to build their own families, to build their own relationships. So my whole philosophy is do yourself first, you know, good, and then your kids will pick it up, maybe non-verbally. Be good yourself, lead by example, because, you know, at the end of the day, if they see healthy family when they were growing up, there is a better chance for them to be in good independent adults and build their own healthy families. Okay, so, oh my gosh, I was talking too much. So for my chicken, I'm dicing my onion and I'm talking, and while I'm talking, I can do my cooking faster. Usually I would be done like in 45 minutes, but because I was talking and I was so focused on telling you all my thoughts, and I also wanted to tell you like how many people I see that cannot understand that they have to play by the rules. I think like a lot of people think they can become rich overnight, and I don't want my kids to get wrong ideas about like just, you know, play with stocks and get rich, or like cheat or rob somebody, like do a financial scam or something and get rich. I don't want them to listen on this TikTok. There's like people who are trying to sell you the course, the marketing course or something. I want them to understand that, you know, everything can be achieved with their persistence, with the hard work, with diligence, with personal qualities, with building your skill set, with, you know, pretty much with hard work. Even this healthy dinner, you know, if I wouldn't cut my onions, if I wouldn't go to the grocery store, like nowadays you can pretty much order everything. But if you go to if you go online and, you know, I don't like deliveries because I'm control freak. I like to pick my own fruits and vegetables. I like everything to pick and touch, and sometimes when they shop for you, they don't pick as good you know, products as you would pick. So that's why I do my own grocery shopping, and I'm like very I'm picking what I really like. Like, for example, if you buy onions, I don't like to buy onions when they're soft. I have to buy my onions when they're really hard, because they last longer and they're crisp and I can cut them. But you know, if somebody shop for with the deliveries, you can get crap. You know, your strawberries can be all rotten or soft or something. So I like to control and buy my own groceries. I like to go to the store by myself. So I'm gonna fry this onion a little bit, and on this I have another pan. I'm gonna fry my mushrooms, and I also gonna put a little bit of onion in my mushrooms, because when you fry onion and mushrooms together, they give you this nice flavor. And when you cook your meats, you know the trick. When you cook your meats, cook it with onion, because onion makes your meats more tender. Yeah, onion has this special power to make your meats softer and tender. So onion has this substance, something in them that tenderizes the meats. Then you a Betty, purple red. Why am I Betty? So why am I Betty, purple red? I have 3 viewers. So what I'm trying to tell you, I also had this this thought process when I was coming home. I'm like, why every little brat feels entitled? Why every little brat is talking about, you deserve to live good life, you deserve. Guess what? Nobody's special. Nobody deserves by the right of being born to have a good life. My philosophy is, you have to earn good life. You have to earn good life. Listen to that. So I want my kids not to take things for granted. I want them to be humble. I want them to know that they have to work hard. And I believe that the hard work make a person, a human, out of the monkey. So people who are just entitled and think they deserve good food just by being born, guess what? You're not that special. You know, you're not that special. We're not entitled to anything. When we're being born, we're not entitled to anything. When we're being born, yes, when we're babies and our mothers are nurturing us, yeah, we're entitled to get some type of care, because we can just die, right? But after we are done, after we are 18, guess what? We're not entitled to anything, not from our parents, not from our teachers, not from our families, not from a rich guy who has to share his wealth with you. We are not entitled to anything. We have to earn things by working hard, by developing our own skills, by getting a profession, by getting education, making our brain work, making our hands work, whatever. But life is not just given. The comforts in life, like my kitchen is not just given. We work hard. Me and my husband as immigrants, we worked really hard. After living in this country for more than 20 years, we finally deserve to have a beautiful kitchen where I can cook meals for my kids and I can do something I value, you know. And this is very beautiful kitchen. It makes me happy. It's something gonna last for the next, hopefully, 30 years. And I see value in it, but I also see that I earned it. I worked hard for that, you know. I didn't get it right away when I got here and then when I made $7. I had other priorities. I had to pay for my school. So why people don't understand these simple things? You're not entitled to anything. You're not special. I'm not special. I worked hard for everything. I didn't win the lottery. My parents were poor. They didn't give me any inheritance. You know, they helped me. Yes, they helped me in other ways. You know, my dad helped me raise my daughters every day. He's here for me with logistics, with helping me around the house. But money-wise, you know, his job was to teach me how to be an independent adult and how to get good education, how to get a good profession, how to be a hardworking person, how to be a good wife. That's what my mom taught me. She taught me how to cook. She taught me how to clean. She taught me how to take care of myself and my loved ones and my house. And I think that if we teach our kids that they're not special, and just because they are loved by their parents and they were born, it doesn't give them a right to be entitled and privileged. Nope, they have to earn things. They have to earn things. And that's why I don't want them to expect me to renew. Well, I'll still renew their passes. I'll still take them for nice vacations. I'll still, you know, help them with good education and pay for their school and like for their sports to give them a good start at life. But I want to explain to them every day that this life we're given to them, it's just the base. It's just the start to teach them how to become independent adults, how to become independent, functional adults who can deal with their lives and who can deal with their own troubles and who can deal with their, you know, situations in life and who can be healthy, who can be in healthy relationships and, you know, produce maybe healthy new generations. Thank you for being with me. I think the message just popped up that my kid had arrived from her gymnastic practice, so I'm gonna let you go. I talked a lot. It's almost an hour, but I hope you don't have to agree with all my philosophical thoughts. I'm just here to express myself, to share my, you know, like what's sitting, to share, and it's some kind of therapy, and it's some kind of like my own wisdom. But you don't have to agree. If you agree, please leave me a comment, give me an example when you feel that you're spoiled or you're not grateful and you want to be more grateful and humble, and how you teach your kids to appreciate things and not take things for granted, and how you teach them, and do your kids have, you know, respect for what you are giving them. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm going back to my chicken. I didn't show you, but maybe I'll film a little short how everything came out. Thank you so much for being with me on this live stream and letting me vent. Have a good evening and have a good week. I'll talk to you soon, maybe on Friday. Bye-bye. Kate B. Like and subscribe. Okay, I have to show you my golden chicken. Okay, and then I'm gonna add mushrooms and lots of greens. Bye.